Okay, good afternoon, gentlemen. Welcome to Singapore.
Thank you. Good
Right.
afternoon. Nice
Okay.
to be here. Thank you.
Keith, this is Keith.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Okay, and this is
Mark, hi, how you doing?
Yep.
Great to see you.
Right.
Great to be here.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, we are I'm representing Rated Photo. Okay, we're doing this chit chat kind of form of interview, right? I have some questions for you, both of you gentlemen, with your experience in motorsports, right? Okay, let's get the ball rolling, right?
Okay, go for it.
Okay, just something. Okay, how big is your company right now? The number of photographers, staff.
Well, first of all, the business has changed. You have to understand, when I started back in 1980, it was just me on my own, and then followed by 5 years later by Mark, and then the company grew in the 90s quite considerably when we were shooting film, and the past decade we've been shooting digital, so it's changed. So at the moment, in the office back in England, we've got 7 full-time staff, but we now have, many contracted photographers around the world, freelancers, rather than staff. So it's all changed.
Mark, do you have anything to add?
I mean, what Keith's saying is that basically we got to a point where we had 25 staff because we ran an E6 line at the office and we ran a colour print machine as well. So, and then we used to mount and caption all the material at the office. We used to do over 6,000 dupes on a Monday and send all those duplicates out to around the world. And in those days there was no scanning, nothing was scanned. And eventually scanning came into it. We then created a website back in 1997. And then from there, digital imaging came into it. But we still shot film. It was a mixture of both. So your commercial clients had the film, but the news pictures were put with digital. So you had the mixture of the both. And then eventually, obviously, as the cameras got better, quicker, the file sizes got bigger, we then came to digital. So the staff is less because basically there's less production work to do. But we still, we're still scanning a lot of the archive back at the offices in Toaster, near Silverstone. We currently have a huge amount of pictures online, 680,000 high-resolution photos, which is a very big Formula One archive. And in the office, there's over 4 million pictures. So the office really is basically full of cabinets of material, original material, which we're still going through and scanning. It's a long process.
Thanks.
No problem.
Okay. Just a little moment. My little blooper. Right. Okay. Okay. Just curious. Okay. For the photo staff, right? The contract photographers and the other staff. Do you still have staff photographers at the moment?
No staff photographers left. It's just Mark and I shooting still. The main office, the main staff are office, operations manager, digital manager, customer services, secretary, PA, production, and digital and archive people. So the staff are working in the office full time. And don't forget, when we're away at the Grand Prix, we need staff at the office as well to control the photographs as well. So we're sending them back from the race circuits, and they're then distributed them to the various clients.
Okay, then just curious, how is the business model of this photography like? How does it work?
You're talking about now or when I started? Right. Well, once again, it's changed a lot from when I started. Because to explain a little bit more, when I started, we were shooting back in 1980 as a young 20-year-old. I was shooting black and white film and colour transparency, and all that had to be processed, and then black and white prints had to be made. We used to do that myself, and then also we had to get the colour processing for the colour transparency, the E6 processing, and then make the duplicates. So the way we worked then was very different to the way we work now, and obviously now everything's digital, and the whole process is much easier. But at the same time, we're having to work at the circuit. A lot of the work's done at the circuit rather than back at the office. But the staff I have to be there at the office to make sure, like I said, we get them to the clients.
So may I assume that your distribution, the control center is actually back in the UK? Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. But we have our own technician at every Grand Prix, who's like a picture editor. So we're all the photographers, and there's 4 photographers. We're taking the cards from the cameras and giving them, and he's downloading them, and he's editing them, choosing the best shots for the clients, and then sending them back to the office. Then the office are then distributing them to the clients and putting them on the SuttonImages.com website.
Okay, right. Thanks. Okay, now can we understand how is a typical day? Okay, a non-race day for being a pro in motorsport photography.
A non-race day.
Non-race day.
For me,
Away from the track.
a non-race day is in the office, behind the desk, looking at lots of paperwork, looking at the computer, answering emails, working with Mark on on new business, and talking to the staff. That's it, really. That's the least glamorous part of the job.
I mean, we're getting a lot of requests from clients because the website is open access to the public and also to potential clients. We've got those people going online, seeing the photos, and some people haven't seen the website before, or some people have seen the logo on a car or seen it in another magazine, so they contact Suttons and say, can we have access to your website, or can we have an agreement or a contract with you to have a regular feed of images? So then the process then is obviously discussing with the client, negotiating a deal. Generally what we try and do is to get 12-month contracts, because they basically get a very good deal. They get a package for the whole 12 months. They get a feed of images for the whole 12 months. We get a regular income for those 12 months, and everyone's happy. Some clients like to be on a picture-by-picture basis. And obviously we've got things like books, projects, we've got calendars. I mean, it's endless, really. Sponsors, obviously, they're looking for photos of their particular sponsor on a car. So we've got requests coming in all the time from these people, which is great revenue for us, and obviously it keeps the business going, and that's the key part. We obviously promote Sutton Images as much as we can around the world, and we're now working in new countries like India, Russia, Korea. Obviously these new continents, the UAE, we've been working with quite a few websites out there and new clients. These new parts of the world that are having Grand Prix or having interest in Formula One, those are the avenues that we've got to keep moving into, and we're always pushing the boundaries as well with our website. So it's it's key part to it all. But yes, in the office generally, Keith and I are discussing new business all the time. And that new business, can be generated from the Grand Prix itself, or it can be through the website.
Right. Okay. Thanks. Okay. Okay. Then just now I asked about the non-race day. Then how about race day? What kind of timing do you wake up? Like just now. Okay. I heard you are off your biological clock. How do you adjust?
Well, I think Singapore's completely different than all the other races. So the typical day at a normal European race would be on Thursday. Let's start by Wednesday. Sorry, let's go forward Wednesday, which is when we travel to the tracks normally. When we fly out, and then we get there Wednesday afternoon or Wednesday evening. We have a meal, and we go to bed, and then we're up early Thursday morning at the circuit for about 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and then we're setting up. That's in the morning. We're setting up. Everyone's arriving, and then we're busy going out there, getting all the pictures of the drivers arriving, and then talking to people about what's been going on over the past week or so since the last race. So Friday morning is practice. Normally begins at 10. So we're there at the circuit probably about 8:30. Normally about an hour and a half or 2 hours before the start.
You got to remember Thursday night as well. We will have a brief. So generally we will look at the track on the Thursday, go and look at all the new positions, look at the sponsor boards around the circuit, just get a feel of the track, if it's a new track or an old track, obviously look at the lighting conditions. Then on the Thursday evening, we will have a briefing with all the photographers to decide where we're going to go for each session. Because otherwise we end up, everyone wants to go to the best position. Whether it, a certain circuit will have a key position, normally the first corner, but also in practice we need to get as many angles as possible. So we all can't be in the same place. So we have to plan every session. So we have a sheet where we have this photographer will go here, this photographer will go there. And obviously we've got to look at getting the best positions. And obviously then we'll go into the race as well. We'll plan the race even before it's happened. So it's like a military precision of where we're going to go at that particular time. Looking at the light as well. The light is very important, obviously, to get the best pictures, whether it's against the light, with the light on the car, so those are the key parts. So Thursday night, we have what we call a team dinner, go through the whole brief, the client work, the editorial work we've got to do, and then the plan is pretty much set for the whole weekend, unless the weather changes.
It can change.
It can
depending
change,
on the weather.
Yeah.
And obviously the circumstances during the race might change as well. There's been incidents in Hungary where Mark was at the first corner, and you tell the story.
Yeah, basically I'd stayed at the first corner for the whole race, did the start, moved around the corner, did some more action pictures. But nothing really happened. It was a pretty boring race other than that.
But that's the main overtaking.
Yeah, there was a main
race.
Overtaking straight. There's a couple of battles going on. I thought, well, should I just hang here till the end of the race? I can still get to do the finish shot, which is a pretty much a 2-minute walk down the straight. I then saw 3 battles going on, and I thought something's got to happen between one of these battles. I'll just stay here. And obviously this is when Barrichello and Schumacher pretty much touched the wall. Schumacher came across on Barrichello and pushed him against the wall. I was ready as he came over the brow. I was also a screen in front of me, so you've got to keep an eye on the screen, keep an eye on the track at the same time. As he came over the brow, they pretty much touched the wall, and I just motor drived it all the way down the straight, all the way around the corner. And obviously the picture was the picture of the weekend, because the big incident was the fact that Michael pushed his old teammate into the pit wall and nearly created a huge accident. Luckily, there was no accident, but it was a great image from the weekend. So sometimes you change what you were going to do. This was actually 3 laps from the end. I then ran down to what was the finish shot. Didn't really get in the position I wanted to for the finish, but took whatever I could. Literally threw the cameras down, picked it up, did the finish shot, then went down for the podium. So we've got to plan what we're going to do, but sometimes you have to change that plan to make it work for you in the race. You have to take a risk. And the risk can sometimes pay off, sometimes it can't. Most cases, Keith and I have got 25 years for me, 30 years of knowledge, and that experience can pay off to your advantage against the younger, more keener guys. But I think experience and passion, as Keith said before, passion is also a key element to it as well. Having a bit of knowledge as well about how the race works.
I think that goes back to my story as well from 1985 when I was in Adelaide, Australia for the 1986, sorry, for the final race. And there was a big fight between the World Championship between Alan Prost and Nigel Mansell and Nelson Piquet. And towards the end of the race, I was on the inside of the main straight, the back straight in Adelaide, and I could see that the brakes were starting to, the brakes were starting to go, and I could see they were really struggling at this corner. So I basically went onto the inside of the corner, crossed the bridge, came onto the outside of the corner. Then the next thing, down the straight, I saw Keke Rosberg in the McLaren. He had a puncture. So obviously the tyres were struggling as well as the brakes. So the next thing I saw coming down the straight was Nigel Mansell, when his tyre exploded and the sparks are flying, and I was there. And I was the only freelance photographer to get that picture. So I got the shot, then I put the big 500 lens down and put the wide angle, because he was climbing through the fence. So I got him climbing through the fence. And then afterwards, I was like walking backwards as he was waving to the crowd, and crowd was saying, well done, Nigel, you did your best. And I'm like taking pictures, he'd lost the World Championship, but I'd got the best picture.